Hey everybody, welcome into episode 19 of the Jack Cohen podcast on YouTube. Today I am joined by very special guest, Matty Fresh. Matty, let's get right into it. Why don't you introduce yourself to some people who might not know who you are?
Jack, first off, thanks for having me. Great to be here. Sorry for the voice, just getting over a little cold right now. Tough time to be a musician when you can't be in the studio recording because you got the suds. But yeah, obviously, I'm Matty Fresh. Most of you probably know me from a little line, throw it on a dime. It's kind of become my trademark over the years, but yeah, I do it all. A little bit of everything with multimedia. Do some music, do some sports broadcasting, cover the UFL with twice weekly podcasts that we have during the season, and put it all together to become Matty Fresh.
Yeah, so let's get right into it with some questions. Who was your biggest inspiration to write songs about Penn State football?
Got to be Saquon Barkley, right? That was the first one. Yeah, man, just going back to kind of my origin with music in 2014. Wrote a Empire State of Mind remix about my hometown called Skook State of Mind, and that had some local success. And when I became a student at Penn State in college, kind of wanted to go that same route with, something that the community could relate with now that I was away from my hometown and up at college. And, I'm going to school the same time Saquon's there. Yeah, we were the same year, same age. And, well, I guess he's actually probably a little younger than me now that I think of it, a year or two, but he was there when I was there. And yeah, that, man, just thinking back to coming into the 2017 season and the Rose Bowl game in 2016, the crazy runs he had, Penn State winning a Big Ten championship. I pretty much knew right after that Rose Bowl loss in 2016 to USC that this guy, Saquon, was going to be my next song. And then it turned into Trace, Jahan, and Triple Threat Tyler from there.
Yeah, so your song Trace McSorley, obviously about former Ravens quarterback, well, third string quarterback Trace McSorley. Did you know when you first released that song was going to go viral and it was going to be used for TikTok, Instagram, pretty much everything, that it's got what, about a million views total on all platforms?
Yeah, that was a good experiment and kind of a taste of what it's like to be an independent artist, man, because you think about that one, and when we made that in a college apartment with no budget and no marketing, like it was all organic on social media. Obviously, like we had the Saquon record the year before, so it did well locally, but you're sitting there 2 years later thinking, all right, we're in the middle of COVID. What's the next thing? And kind of trying to re-identify after college what I was going to do since I was no longer a student. I graduated in May of 2019. That was fall of 2020 that this was all popping off. So I had to remind myself and my producer, Cam Sunday as well, that we kind of earned this, like the song was always good. We loved it when we made it. But yeah, years go by and it doesn't go national. And it did, like in the 2 years from like 2018 to 2020, there was a couple of big things. Like it ended up on ESPN and like a college football preview segment. But yeah, like the level that it blew up at first, no, we were like, we had to cross our T's and dot our I's, man. We were way behind. We did not expect that to happen out of nowhere. So it kind of reminds you like, hey, when you always got to be ready because music is timeless and the internet is forever. So you never know when something's going to pop from years ago, and people don't care when it came out. You
Right.
see stuff blowing up on TikTok nowadays that came out 20, 30 years ago. And artists' careers are being revived because of it. So yeah, that's the great part about music, right? Like it's tough with a podcast, it's tough with sports broadcasting because everything's live and everything's right now in the moment. With music, you put it out and people are never, if it's a good song, people are never going to forget that.
Right. Besides some of your more popular songs like Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, Skook's State of Mind, and even Triple Threat Tyler, which song or songs were your, would you say are your underdogs, kind of?
Yeah, I wrote a song called Tsunami.
Oh, I love that
Back,
song.
yeah, appreciate it, bro. Back in 2022. That's my favorite song I ever wrote, man. And that's the one where that comes on at the cookout, that comes on the boat, and me and my boys are getting down to that thing. Like that's all of our favorite songs. Well, I guess Scoop State of Mind obviously is the one where if I'm at home with the boys or I'm at a family party or something, obviously everyone wants to hear that one because it's all about our hometown. But
Right.
my favorite song with my close friend, like my closest friends, is Tsunami. I love that song, and it is so slept on to this day. But I get it. Like I people want to hear sports songs and Penn State songs, and that's great. I'll keep making those. But man, Tsunami was yeah, I still jam to that. I love that song.
Have you talked to Tyler or Charlie after you made the song titled Charlie Woods?
No, that he you know what? Um well, I guess him and Aaron Rodgers are the only two that I've never met or like talked to of the songs that I made about guys. But yeah, that was one where he was going crazy viral. And I was like, man, I think this kid's going to be a star someday. And I still think he will be. What's he probably now? He's probably like 17. He's probably 16 or 17. That song came out like 4 years ago, and I think he was 13. So um, when he start, if he chooses a pro golf career, that could resurface too. That could go wild.
100%.
Yeah.
Besides, like you mentioned earlier, besides Throw It on a Dime, which lyrics have been your favorite? Like your
Oh,
top three or top five favorite lyrics from some songs?
yeah. I, one that I always thought was catchy, it was in Comeback Aaron, was you could win a Super Bowl in front of your fiance. Now, it didn't age well because they broke off the engagement and then Aaron lost in front of my eyes in Lambeau Field to the Niners in that divisional game. I was actually there. So that that didn't age well, but when I wrote that, I was like, oh, that's the one. Damn, there's been so many. I think even in the McSorley song, uh, I bring that they bring the blitz, I scramble out and let the effort fly. That one is that gets the people going.
Yeah.
Um, what else, man? I like the Saquon, um, the the 50 to 40 to 30. That always got me a little bit. But there's so many, dude. Like that's a good question. But I would say a couple different ones there from different songs. Yeah.
I think you left out a big one there, the Jahan Dotson one. Shoot, how's it go? They took him out to
Oh
Madison
yeah.
and they could not account for him.
That was not the one I thought you were gonna say. The one that yeah, that's a good one. The one that everybody always see. I'm forgetting so many, and you're gonna remind me of some now that I left out. But the one that everyone thinks of from that song is he's the greatest thing to come from Nazareth since Jesus. So yeah, that one's got to be up there on the Mount Matty Fresh Mount Rushmore too.
And let's end it with a big question. If if you were to write a song about another Penn State player, which I'm sure you will, who do you think would be the next one that you give a big song to? Maybe Katron Allen? He's been featured in a couple of your songs.
I get this question every time, man. It's also like the hardest question to answer.
Yeah.
Um, I've never done a defensive player, so that's interesting, right? Um, I've never done a coach. People forget, like coaches are on the board too. Um, it's tough, man, because if you look back at Saquon, Trace, Jahan, and Tyler Warren, those guys, in my opinion, were if you did a first team Penn State All Americans from 2000 when I started around the time I started watching this team, I was
Mhm.
like 5 to current moment. Those 4 guys are in that first team.
100%.
Tyler is probably the best tight end to play in Penn State in the last 25 years. Jahan, without a doubt, one of the top 2, if not the best receiver in the last 25 years. We know Saquon's probably the best player in Penn State's
Penn
last
State
25
history.
years, if not
Yeah.
all time. Yeah, if not all time. And then you've got Trace, definitely the best quarterback Penn State's had in the last 25. So that's a level of like, you can't just throw a song out to anybody. And that goes to show you, Jack, how fortunate Penn State has been to have these kind of guys because it makes it seem like, oh, Matty just does a song every year. I really don't. Like
No,
we had a gap from 2018 to 2021. We didn't put anything out because there was nothing to put out. So I will only do it when they're legend, like Mount Rushmore status. And I hope that somebody in the locker room uses that as motivation. I'm probably crazy. I'm a crazy artist. I used to think Aaron Rodgers was going to come back to Green Bay because he heard my song. But if somebody in that locker room says, hey, I want to be the next song, I'm going to go ball out like Tyler Warren, please, by all means, do it because we need the next one. But it's also like there's so many possibilities. This could be the most talented Penn State team from a on paper perspective in a long time. And obviously the expectations are crazy high this year.
yeah, obviously with Drew Aller coming back for his senior year, correct?
That's it. Yeah.
I'm a Maryland fan, and I just remember the pain that Tyler Warren caused us last year. We start off 7-0 with a backup quarterback. And I'm like, okay, this game's going all right. I think we held you guys to a field goal, and then we got one of our own.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we just need to do this the rest of the game, and there goes Tyler Warren.
Yeah. I was
And
at
then
that game and it was, I've never like, I've never seen a stadium be less worried with a 7-0 deficit. Like, I don't know what it was, if it was just everyone was drinking all day or we were thinking about the Big Ten championship, but
right,
like, I don't know if anybody even realized it was 7-0 Maryland. Me, I know ball. I'm a ball knower.
right.
I'm sitting around like, y'all are crazy. Like this, we can't get caught sleeping. But I don't know. I guess it's because it's Maryland. Like 2014 though. Uh, I'll never forget that. The James Franklin's first time playing Maryland, and he coached there before he
Yeah,
coached at Penn State. He coached there as an OC. And his first time playing Maryland with Penn State, Maryland didn't shake hands
I know. Yeah,
in the
that was
pregame.
crazy.
And since that, and Maryland won that day. But
I've seen highlights.
since then, it's been, as you know, uh, moral victories have been hard to come by
Right.
for the Terps. So not to pile on, but yeah, I thought if there was one person in Beaver Stadium that was a little worried after that touchdown pass, it was me. But obviously, Tyler Warren, he was going to make sure Penn State wasn't going to fall victim to the Terps there.
But Maddie, thanks again for joining me today. And hate to say it, but hope Penn State does good this year. But hopefully Maryland can beat them. I'm not even sure if they play them. I'm sure they do, but
Let's see. I got my reference right here. I've been reading the College Football Bible, the Phil Steele magazine this week. I should know this.
I
Penn State,
think they
Maryland,
do.
not on the schedule this year. Yeah. So
I was going to say, I think
there you
Maryland has
go.
a relatively easier schedule. I know they play Michigan on my birthday, but I think we don't have to watch Maryland play Ohio State. We don't have to
Yeah.
play Penn State.
That might be the first time in that's like the first
I,
time I can remember in a long time that Maryland is not playing Penn State. That's something. All
yeah.
right. Maryland, let's see. I'll give you here we go. I'll give you an official record prediction.
All right.
So let's see. All right, yeah, you're manageable here. Starting off with 3 cupcakes. I mean, Northern
Oh,
Illinois is sneaky, right? I shouldn't call them a cupcake after what they did last year.
oh my
But we'll give
goodness.
you 3-0 there. I don't see NIU pulling that off again.
No.
At Wisconsin's a coin flip. We'll say 3-1. Uh, that's an interesting 3-game stretch. Washington, Nebraska, UCLA. Oh,
I say we take two.
I'll give them 2 or 3 there. Yeah, I was going to say 2 or 3 there. 5-2, and then I'll give you. Yeah, I can't give you Indiana. They're tough. 5-3. At Rutgers, at Illinois, split those. I'll put you at 6-4. So there's a bowl game. And then
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks of the season, there's your chance at your upset. It's gonna have to be either Michigan or Indiana, right?
I
So
think we
I'll
take
I'll
both
give you
right
the
there. I
Michigan
think we
pick.
take
It's on your
Michigan.
birthday. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair one. So let's say, I mean, they've been close to beating Ohio State and Michigan before in the last couple of years. I'll say 7-5, which would be better than last year. Get back to a bowl.
Yeah. But thanks again, Maddie, for joining me today. This was episode 19 of the Jack Cohn podcast. Have a good day. And as always, go O's.